Hi guys, let me fix myself. Well, I wanted to do a I didn't want to, but, I did kind of want to. Anyway, one of my subscribers, they suggested I do a video about my life. And, I'm just kind of sensitive about this because it is my life. And, I haven't really tried to record this that many times because I don't actually edit. Fuck that. Yep. And it's just that in my life, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. Let me tell you now. So if you're gonna comment that I'm bitching about my life, I'm really not. I'm just trying to inform you. And also because one of my subscribers suggested I do it. And I kind of wanted to do this video. And I'm wearing shorts, guys. I'm wearing shorts. Anyway, I guess I'll start now. Well, it started when I was about 5 years old. No, it was like 3. I was 3 years old, and my parents were fighting a lot. And, I don't even know what it was about. I guess what my mom told me was that it's about my grandparents. My grandma and grandpa were never approving of her. And, it was just like that. I have two siblings on both sides of my family. I have in total of 4. I have my 2 older sisters and my 2 older brothers. And I'm the baby. The 2 sisters are on my father's side and the 2 brothers are on my mother's side. And I'm not sure what the names of my sisters are. I'm pretty sure one of them is Ate Manji. I know, weird name, right? Anyway, I have 2 older sisters, and my 2 older brothers are named, the eldest is Mo, and the second eldest brother is Alvin. One's a lot older than me, and another one's about 4 years older. I'm not sure I've talked about my family much in my videos, but yeah. Anyway, it's just, my parents are fighting a lot, and I didn't really know what was going on, so I couldn't do anything about it. So yeah. Sorry, my glasses are getting foggy. Anyway, just, my family is kind of weird. I mean, everyone's a half-brother, except for my 2 sisters, their mom. Both of them have the same mom and dad. And both of my brothers have different fathers, but the same mother. The same mother as me. So, yeah. And, it was kind of a dysfunctional family because my parents were always fighting. We didn't really do anything because we really couldn't. We were just kids. I mean, my brother was in high school, so he probably could have done something, but honestly, I don't think he cared. Anyway, when I was about 5 years old, I moved out to California. Wait. As I was getting older, I was from 3 years old to about 5 years old. I moved around a bit, and I moved around a bit, so I never really had friends. I guess I had 1 or 2, but those were childhood friends, and I don't talk to them anymore. So I don't really have anyone left from my childhood. So anyway, when I was about 5 years old, I was just turning 5. We moved out here to California. And I don't know what to say about that. I guess I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't even know what was going on. I'm not sure how I felt about leaving my father behind in Florida. but yeah. My father and I never had any contact for 9 whole years. 9 years, guys. And just, I don't know, I guess ever since then I had father issues. And you're gonna say daddy issues. And anyway, we moved out of Florida to my grandparents over here in California, the grandparents on my mother's side. And just, I don't know, I love my grandparents, so I'm not complaining that we moved out here. I'm not complaining, because I don't think what was going on back in Florida could have been fixed. And okay, let's stay off that subject. So I moved two or three times while I was in California, and I guess I didn't really have any friends. I was really hard at making friends when I was little. It was really hard for me. Like, I was always really friendly as a little girl, and I'm still pretty friendly now, but it was still hard for me to make friends, guys. I know what you're saying. How can someone who has trouble making friends be a YouTuber or just make videos? Wouldn't you be shy? Camera shy? Or something like that? But yeah, I kind of am. I can't really do anything about that, but I want to make this channel for you guys. Anyway, back onto the subject. I moved 2 or 3 times. I had one friend before the first time I moved, but she was pretty mean. I forget her name. It started with an S. I think I called her Beanie. The fuck? She was black. And she was a spoiled child. Trust me. She was a spoiled child, and well, if you ever end up watching this, I'm gonna be surprised. So sorry if I'm saying anything mean, if you ever end up watching this. But yeah, she was mean, and she turned me mean. But all I really wanted was a friend, so I stuck with it. And then I finally moved, and I moved to this little 2-story house in Temecula. No, because I went to no, it was Vail. I think I lived in this 2-story house when I was in, like, 1st grade for about 6 months. 6. And yeah, I lived in this 2-story house for about 6 months, and everything was good. We lived with my grandparents. I got some of the things I wanted. My mom was pretty good to me. But then we moved all the way over here to the house. Well, I had a few friends before I moved, but not that many. I don't even think I remember having any friends, but I'm pretty sure I did, because I probably would have been bullied, and I don't remember ever getting bullied. Well, to my face anyway. Because if I didn't have any friends, I probably would have been bullied really bad. But if I was being bullied back then, when I went to that one school, I didn't know about it. Nobody said anything to me. I don't think anyone knew my life story, but they could tell I was pretty fragile. And they didn't want to say anything to my face, even though they wanted to say it really bad, probably. So yeah, then we moved to where we are now, Marietta. And I started going to the school of Tovashal. And I was kind of a loner. I maybe had one friend. His name was Adam. I had him in 2nd to 3rd grade. But then in 3rd grade, I met this girl, McKaylee. We were so close, and it just hurts now thinking about it, how we were like sisters. Anyway, well, she kind of befriended me because I was always just kind of by myself. I was always just kind of by myself until she finally decided to come up to me and was like, hey, you want to be friends? So yeah, I had her. And well, I guess that was all the way until about 4th grade. 4th grade, I kind of struggled with my grades, but I did pretty well. And 4th grade is kind of when I started growing up. I mean, we had it good in the house, but that was the point where I was kind of growing up. I stopped being a little pup, well, a baby pup, just a pup, a long time ago, back in 4th grade, where I was struggling with my grades, but still did pretty well. Well, I thought I was struggling. Anyway, that was when my mom started getting involved because I was getting in trouble with the teachers. And I just got in trouble a lot. I don't even remember why I was getting in trouble. And there was no reason to be getting in trouble, but somehow I did. And well, sorry if my voice is trembling. But yeah, I was starting to get in trouble in 4th grade. And I still had my best friend McKaylee. I'm not best friends with her anymore. Trust me. Anyway, it's just, I was still friends with her, best friends, even sisters with her for the longest time. And well, 5th grade came, I was lacking in my reading. Like, it's not like I didn't have reading skills. It's just that I was just struggling with it. And then I started to stop doing my homework because someone told me it was a nice idea, and then it became a habit, and I just stopped doing my homework. And then, well, I was constantly having people talk crap about me. And then I met this girl named Sophie. I started to become jealous of her being best friends with my friend McKaylee. And then we eventually got into a fight with Aunt Sophie. McKaylee was still friends with me then, and I just got into a fight with her. And she was yelling at me saying that everyone hates me because I made you cry. I don't even remember what we were fighting about. And just, I don't know. It was just crazy. I cried a lot back then. Oh, and then came on 6th grade. I mean, it was a struggle. I'm pretty sure I was constantly bullied behind my back. No one ever said anything to my face. I don't know why. They could have. I could have had it much worse with the bullying. People could have said crap to my face. But no one ever did. I guess it's because I had the defense of my friends that I somehow kept until middle school. So yeah, I had the protection of them. And I was always the weird girl. You know me, I'm always weird. But yeah, I was just kind of like, you know, the weird kid. And I was always bullied throughout middle school. Nobody said anything to my face like they did in elementary school. So yeah. Anyway, back to the subject. 7th grade came along and I had a crush on this guy, Clayton. I was kind of boy crazy from 6th to 7th grade. Oh yeah, in 6th grade, I had a crush on this guy, Trevor Richardson. He was a year older than me. He is. And I just found him adorable back then. I just found him adorable. And I was kind of boy crazy, so that happened. And then I started catching feelings for Clayton in 7th grade. we were like close friends. And then just, I kind of drifted from him because I was so boy crazy. And then what the fuck? Anyway, then came Daniel, my ex-boyfriend. And I just kind of, like, was still boy crazy at that point. And so I was, like, really flirty with him. And then the next day, I gave him my number. And then the next few days after that, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said yes. But at that point, that's when I started going, woo, woo, woo. I started going crazy. I guess it was just a toxic relationship. It was so bad for me. I was crying a lot, and it was bad. I was emotionally and mentally abused. And, like, not like he was saying mean things. It's just, it was just a bad relationship. I felt like I was worthless in that relationship. I felt like I wasn't doing enough. I felt like I was just a horrible girlfriend. As well as just, I don't know, it was a really confusing time for me. Anyway, we broke up in 8th grade. Once in 7th grade, another time in 8th grade. I can't believe I got back with him in 8th grade. I don't know why. Anyway, I was just 7th grade, I started self-harming. In the first half of the year, I just kind of, like, was kind of making fun of it until finally I snapped. And just, like, snap. I just kind of snapped and I started self-harming the second half of 7th grade. It wasn't, like, deep cuts. It was more like scratches. So it wasn't really self-harm, but it was still in a sense. And, well, I started self-harming because of the relationship. And I was depressed for the longest time. I was sad in 6th grade, really sad, first half of 7th grade, then depressed second half of 7th grade, until I got into 8th grade. And in 7th grade, I started going up to the counselor because I was honestly miserable every single day of my life. So it was just horrible. And back to the subject of my mother, well, from 5th grade year, it was just bad with my mom. It was. I felt like I was worthless every single day. Everything I did was a mess up. Anyway, everything I did was a mess up to her. She wanted me to be a certain way. Like, she didn't care what kind of music I listened to, but she did care about how I looked and how I acted. Just no matter what way I acted, it wasn't enough for her. Nothing is ever enough for my mom. So yeah, in 7th grade, I started going up to the counselor because I was miserable and crying. In the first half of 8th grade, I was still bullied, somewhat. And then came the point where I was feeling suicidal and contemplating suicide. Yeah, same thing. But anyway, I was contemplating suicide at that point, and I was just attempting. And then the school counselor finally sent me up to the mental hospital, psychiatric place. And they kept me there for a few days. And yeah, at that point I was very depressed, but I was so scared. I was so scared of staying in there. I hated it in there. Like, yeah, it was nice. People were nice in there. But honestly, it was horrible. It's not like they abuse you in mental hospitals, but they treat you like children. And it's just, it's so bad. And yeah, so I faked it until I got out. And then I just tried to keep up my mood so I didn't have to go back. And by the time I got back to school, a lot of people were starting rumors about me. They were saying that I went into the bathroom, had brought a knife to school, and was slitting up my arms. Some sort of crap like that. So in the middle of 8th grade year, I decided to transfer to Chevala Middle School. And there I was emotionally bullied and abused because people were saying crap to me, calling me a fucking emo, or like telling me to cut myself, or saying that I am cutting myself, which I was at the time. But yeah. And then I met this guy, Riley. At that point, I was getting very attached to people at random. So, like, I was attached to one person, and then the next, I was attached to another person. And at that time, I was very attached to him. I kind of liked him. And just one day, someone said that he made a kill list. And just, it was horrible. I was, like, they sent us up to the office, and I was crying and crying and crying. Because I was scared that I might have been a part of it, and I would have gotten sent to a mental hospital again. And then I started hearing voices. From the beginning of that semester, of the second semester of 8th grade, I started hearing voices. I know, crazy, right? Schizophrenia. Whoop! Anyway. Yeah, I was crying and crying. And then I felt so bad because he looked so scared when we were up in the office because the officer was talking to him. And just, yeah. And then once again, I got involved with his sister. And, like, I don't know. It just, I tried my best to help her out any way I could. At some point, I was bringing a pin to school to start cutting myself. And I brought it to school, and one day she was having a really bad anxiety attack, and I ended up stabbing her in the leg with a pin. And yeah, I got sent up to the office for that, so I got in a lot of trouble. Anyway, towards the end of 8th grade year, I got sent back to the psychiatric place, and I was sent there again and I was sent there not for suicidal thoughts but for voices. And from there they sent me back to my psychiatrist, which I had been seeing since 8th grade, middle of 8th grade. My psychiatrist and therapist. They prescribed me on a psych med. And so yeah, from there I was getting treated for depression and the voices. And I was seeing a therapist for the longest time. Up until now, I'm still going to therapy for, it's been almost 3 years. In November it'll be 3 years. And unless I stop at this point. But yeah. Then came freshman year. I was a fucking emo. I was like crying a lot. I was just like, woo. Fucking emo shit. I'm not saying emos are bad because some of my viewers are emo. I'm not saying emos are bad. I'm not making a rant on how bad emos are. I'm just saying I was emo and I was really bad. I was just crying almost every day. I kept on having panic attacks in school and all that. And in November of freshman year, I got sent back to the psychiatric place, but I was only brought in. I wasn't admitted. So yeah, and then I got released because I wasn't feeling suicidal or anything. And then February of the next year, not sophomore year, but the beginning of 2014. Yeah, the beginning of 2014. In February, I was brought back into it and admitted for voices and suicidal thoughts. And then I was in the emergency room for 2.5 days, and then kept in the mental institution, the psychiatric place, for about 2.5 days. So yeah, I met some cool people there. I actually met my ex-girlfriend there. But yeah, and then July of that year, I hadn't been admitted into the mental institution since then. And in July of 2015, I met my other ex-girlfriend, Taylor Johnston. She is a whore. But yeah, it was just like my relationship with Daniel. It was really bad. I felt it was a good relationship, but at the same time toxic for me. And I felt like crap every day of it. So yeah. Oh shit, 26 minutes. Bruh. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So then I met Taylor summer before my sophomore year, and it just kind of ended in like around August or September. September is around the time that we broke up. And freshman year, I also dated Dante. Bruh. It was just there. It was a good relationship. I felt really good. If it was a really good relationship, it was great. It's just I ended up cheating. And then we broke up. And he didn't know that I cheated. We just broke up because I didn't feel like it was gonna go anywhere. So yeah, we broke up, and that was freshman year. And sophomore year, here I am. So yeah. I guess I got better after freshman year. It was a like transition stage for me. But yeah. I got better. I kept on having less panic attacks and going up to the nurse's office every day. I didn't do that anymore. I was crying almost every day of freshman year, and I just kept on getting worse and worse. And then I guess I started getting better over the summer, but that's when I met Taylor, and I plummeted down ever since I met Taylor. But then I picked myself back up. And it was pretty good after that. I'm not saying that I have a great life now. I don't. Because I'm still having troubles with my mom. I'm cool with my brothers now. I mean, I used to get hit by my brother, to be honest. And yeah, I was just always feeling so bad every single day. From 5th grade until now, I still feel like a piece of crap, feeling worthless, and just, I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm also on a medication for my depression. This is a really hard video for me to record. I mean, it's not like I was crying or anything during it, but my voice is trembling, and I kind of feel a bit upset right now, but it feels great to get this off my chest. This is a lot more detailed than I've shared with some of my friends, but yeah, I just feel like a worthless piece of shit. Well, thank you guys for listening. I love you all. I don't want any pity from this video, but I love you all. Thank you for listening.